Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. In this week's Parsha, Parsha's Vayakhel, the Torah tells us all the different aspects of the construction of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle. And at the end of all of the different aspects, the Torah says that they did exactly as Hashem had commanded them to do so. They did exactly as Hashem had commanded them to do so. And again, at the end of the entire portion, entire Parsha, it again reiterates that the Jewish people had done exactly as Hashem had commanded them to do so. So the question is, and the Beis Halevi asks this question, why is it that the Torah keeps telling us that the Jewish people did exactly as Hashem commanded them to do so? The Torah does not waste words, and obviously it's trying to impart upon a lesson upon us. So the answer, I heard this from my Rebbe Nissen Kaplan, it's very, very crucial to our focus in our service to Hashem and how we serve Hashem, and that is that when people start doing things on their own, ultimately what can happen is something like what happened in last week's Parsha, that they created the golden calf. Now, when they made the golden calf, they may have had the best intentions. They wanted to connect to Hashem. They just needed somebody in place of Moses until they maybe found somebody else. It doesn't matter. With the best intentions, you know what ends up, the result ends up being the worst sin that the Jewish people ever did, the sin of the golden calf. And so therefore we have to keep in mind to ourselves that if we don't understand right and wrong on our own, there's only one way we can figure out what right and wrong is, and that's only by Hashem, how Hashem dictates to us what's right, what's wrong. And when we start thinking on our own, that's when everything spirals, gets out of control, and ultimately actually end to be a huge disaster, a huge sin, instead of actually the opposite. Instead of sanctifying Hashem's name, we end up desecrating Hashem's name. It's very, very important. We also see this by the fact that the Torah said that whoever wanted to bring money for the building of the Mishkan was able to come, and they gave, and there was so much money. It was giving of heart, like we've mentioned. But at the same time, we found last week that when it came to giving certain amounts for the shekel, it said both the rich and the poor have to give the exact same amount. You can't give more, you couldn't give less. So which one is it? Do you have to give, or are you able to give? So the answer also is that in Judaism, you have to know that your service towards Hashem is all about your heart. But nevertheless, it must be built on a foundation. And that foundation is, I have to do this. It's not that I can do this, I have to do this. Once you know then what you have to do, so then you can build on that, but you can do as much as you can. However, your foundation must be, I have to listen to what Hashem says, I have to listen to what Hashem says. And that is what the Torah is reiterating, that the Jewish people specifically chose to atone for the golden calf, but instead of making their own calculations about how to serve Hashem, they were going to only serve Hashem exactly like Hashem had commanded them to do through Moses, through Moshe Rabbeinu. And so therefore, ourselves is very, very important. We all want to do the right thing, but sometimes we're infused the wrong way, and it ends up being the wrong thing. And so therefore, it's very imperative for all of us to learn what the right thing is. When Hashem says, keep Shabbos, so then we can beautify it by keeping Shabbos in an incredible way. But for a person to say, well, this Shabbos I don't want to keep because it's just going to take away from the beauty of next Shabbos. Too much of a good thing is not good. No, now you're overthinking things. Hashem says keep Shabbos, so keep Shabbos. And any other mitzvah that we have to do, we have to first know what we have to do. Once we have to do that, then certainly go ahead full force and do it full steam ahead, and you'll certainly get more reward for that. Have a great Shabbos. Thank you for listening.